Before the match against Real Madrid, I saw an interview with Trent Alexander-Arnold, where he reiterated he had no regrets and moving to Real Madrid was a dream come true. As he sat on the bench with Alonso picking Valverde as first choice right back ahead of him for the third game running, I wonder if he thought this was his dream come true. As he watched Conor Bradley pocket Vini Jr. all match with the Anfield crowd singing "There's only one Conor Bradley," was that his dream come true? Listen, I'm being a bit facetious. If Real Madrid go on to win the Champions League and he sets up a goal with a fantastic cross in the final, then maybe his dream came true. But let us enjoy this one little moment for now. Liverpool beat Real Madrid 1-0. I was so nervous going into that game. I really was. And Liverpool put out their best performance of the season so far. By far. So in this video, we're going to break that down, talk about some of the performances, talk about some of the tactics. I'm Lawrence on Liverpool, a tiny little fan channel. I also have a whatnot channel called Lawrence on Cards. The link is below in the description. Go check that out. You'll see me live streaming several times a week. So when we saw the lineup, seeing Florian Wirtz on that left-hand side in place of Gakpo was a surprise. And I was a little bit worried about how he would hold down that position. Turns out I had nothing to worry about. One, because he didn't really hold down that left wing position anyway. He was all over the place. He seemed to have been given complete license to roam anywhere along that attacking band and back into midfield. And he did that with a hunger to press that I've not seen from him before. He was a pressing monster. He was channeling in his inner Roberto Firmino. He was tracking, harassing, tackling, intercepting. The Real Madrid players must be having nightmares about him because he was all over them. And then when he got the ball back, and he must have won possession back so many times in the match, every time he got the ball back, straight away looking up, how can I attack? How can I feed my players? How can I create a creative attacking movement happening? He was fantastic. Suddenly, I'm starting to see what all the fuss about Florian Wirtz is. You got to remember, he's only 22. He's come to a new league. Yeah, we've all been a bit like, he's not showing us what's so special about him so far. Now I understand. On that performance, I understand why Liverpool paid so much for him. If a 22-year-old, in just his first couple of months in a new league, can do that to Real Madrid, what's he going to do when he's fully settled into Liverpool, fully understands and works well with all his teammates and is acclimatized to the Premier League? He's going to tear this league up. He is special. I think he's special. Could this be a one-off? Maybe. I'm hoping we'll see more of this because he was like all the best qualities of Bobby Firmino in tracking, pressing, getting the ball back, setting up attacks. But he's so young. And he could become even better than Bobby Firmino? Maybe. This was a wonderful sign to see in this match. An absolute pressing animal from the front. Another player who was fantastic was Conor Bradley. There was a reason. There were two reasons why the crowd was singing "There's only one Conor Bradley" several times. One of the reasons was to dig at Trent, of course. The other reason was that he absolutely controlled and dominated Vini Jr. He had Vinicius on a string in his pocket. Every single attack from Vini Jr., Bradley was on him, harassing him, closing him down. He wasn't even like showing him in one direction. He was saying, there's no direction you can go in. I'm going to smother you. I'm going to snuff you out. That's what he did the whole game. Sometimes hard tackles, sometimes just literally putting his body against Vini, closing down any avenues. It got so bad that towards the end of the match, there was one moment where Conor Bradley just got within a meter of Vini and Vini flopped on the ground. He didn't even wait for contact to be made. He just dropped and was like, you know what, I give up. It's like he was kneeling down to Conor Bradley's feet. It was fantastic. There was a moment earlier in the match as well where he tried to buy a foul and Conor Bradley made it clear with how he was placing his feet and his hands and his body, that if Vini was going down, it was going to be a dive. The referee didn't buy it, thankfully. Bradley played brilliant. We need to see consistency in the league. We need to stay fit. If he can stay fit, he could be one of the best right backs of the Premier League or the world this year. Salah did some lovely little dribbles on the right. His attacking endeavour was nice to see. It's full of zip and zest. Towards the end of the match, he became a good outlet where he would slow the ball down. He'd battle with the Real Madrid players and then lay it off somewhere, just taking a lot of pressure off Liverpool when we were trying to hold on to that 1-0 lead. Good performance from Salah too. And overall, as a team, the high press was in Real Madrid's face all the time, led by Wirtz, but also Szoboszlai, McAllister, all pulling their weight, all putting in crunching tackles, Gravenberch cutting out all passing lanes. They did brilliantly in pushing Real Madrid into their half and then putting the high press on. And multiple times we won the ball back in dangerous areas. Fantastic. Where has that been? We saw a little bit creep in into that Aston Villa game and it paid off. And then against Real Madrid, we see it heightened even more. What we need is that. We need that every single week. And Liverpool will start mounting a challenge to Arsenal once again. I'm telling you. There is a chance, but we have to maintain that level of intensity. We can't drop off just because we won't be facing Real Madrid. Every match has to be intense, hungry, pressing, a little bit of that Klopp mentality brought back into the team. If we can do that, we can beat anyone. And at this point, I probably need to mention and half apologize for doubting Slot with the team he put out against Crystal Palace. I still think it was a risky thing to do because we clearly threw that game away, so we're out of one cup. But losing again when we were already on a big run of losses just makes it even harder to start believing in yourself ahead of matches like Real Madrid and next up Man City. So I thought it was very risky. I thought it was a big, big mistake. It's actually turned out all right. It's actually worked out. Maybe you have to give Slot credit for that. He did say in one interview where he was like, to be honest, you lose 5, you lose 6. There's not much of a difference there. So it didn't damage our confidence anymore anyway. Maybe he was right then, because what we did is we then beat Aston Villa with a clean sheet. We didn't beat Real Madrid with a clean sheet. If we go and beat Man City and keep a clean sheet, then I have to just say, Slot, you know what you're doing. That's why you're the manager. And I overreacted when I said it was a huge mistake putting out such a weak team against Crystal Palace in the cup. Maybe it was sensible to sacrifice that cup for whatever reason Slot had, because it's now started a bit of a winning run. Let's keep it going. Man City will be a huge test. It really will be. But if we can beat Man City, I think Liverpool could go on a long run of wins. And then that's putting the challenge down to Arsenal. Can you maintain the pace you've already set, or will you start to falter? They'll lose eventually. They can't keep winning every single game. And back to Real Madrid. To be honest, 1-0 flattered them a bit, really. We had so many more chances to score than we allowed Real Madrid. We really restricted them to hardly anything good. Whereas Liverpool had multiple shots and headers on goal. And if it wasn't for Courtois having another one of his games where he's just a masterful goalkeeper, you have to put it to him, we'd be 3-0 up. We could easily be 3-0 up. You know, there were headers from Ekitike. There were Szoboszlai, long-range efforts, 2 of them that stung Courtois' hands. But it took McAllister, one of the shortest men on the field, to leap with power and accuracy and divert that whipped-in cross from the free kick that Szoboszlai took. And even though it was kind of straight at Courtois, it was done with such power and determination. It just went through his arms, just above him. And finally, we're 1-0. And then something miraculous happened. At no point was I worried that Real Madrid would score. We were so defensively solid. We were so good at pressing. We had pocketed Vini. Well done, Bradley. We had controlled Mbappe with Gravenberch, Van Dijk, and Konate all working together in absolute unity. And Robbo, he needs to keep starting ahead of Kerkez. He brings that experience, he brings that understanding with Van Dijk. He also drives the ball forward with purpose, not with reckless abandon. The Kerkez will learn. Kerkez will become a bit more like Robbo. He's going to learn from Robbo. But for now, we need to keep Robbo in place as our starting left back. But that whole defence, with Gravenberch, with McAllister making crunching tackles, with Szoboszlai running, and Wirtz pressing from the front. That was beautiful. That was a beautiful performance. Very, very impressive. Man of the match, as I said, Konate was imperious. McAllister scored the goal, crunching tackles. Wirtz pressing like a madman. Bobby Firmino reborn into a 22-year-old German. But I think I'm going to give it to Conor Bradley as my man of the match. Do let me know what you think in the comments. Can we beat Man City next? What is your prediction for that match? And I'll speak to you again very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.